Today is Leah's 8th birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
But her party is at Children's Mercy because, like baby Zaya, her heart is sick.
Leah was born with very complex congenital heart disease that required a series of surgeries.
Leah also has HLHS, and her 3 reconstructive surgeries bought her valuable time.
The problem with this is that it does not always last.
What do you want on your ice cream?
Sprinkle.
Sprinkles. And you want cake?
Yeah.
Well, if you're gonna be here, definitely celebrate.
Leah's reconstructed heart was doing great, but she got a cold, and this small illness revealed a big problem.
So I took her to the Children's Mercy urgent care. They took her by ambulance, and then we found out that her heart was starting to go into failure.
Children's Mercy is one of the highest volume pediatric heart centers in the nation. Dr. Brian Birnbaum pushes medicine to the limits to keep Leah alive.
Although we tried everything we could with her medical therapies, Leah's heart continued to be sick and really thought that her best chance for long-term, not just survival, but quality of life was for a heart transplant.
We've always been told she'd have to have a heart transplant. We're told maybe in her 30s. We go to this little meeting room and there's all these doctors around and talked about in the 30s, we talked about in her teens. Well, the time is now. We're just deer in the headlight.
With no other options, Leah is placed on the waiting list for a heart transplant, 1A, the highest priority. Back in the pediatric intensive care unit, Leah suddenly stops moving on her left side.
She had a sudden stroke. There was a clot in her brain that was stopping the blood flow, and if there is permanent damage, then transplant is no longer an option, and we are out of options.
When she had the stroke, they told us up to a year of recovery. You know, may not know for a month or 2 what kind of setback she's gonna have, and she's walking in 5 days. She's worked really hard to regain the use of her left side of her body. It's just that she's just tired.
Leah is tired because her heart is shutting down. Implanting a ventricular assist device, or VAD, may be her only chance to stay alive.
We know that in kids who have very significant heart disease like Leah, the risk of complications, including things like stroke, is much, much higher. So we don't want to place an assist device unless there's really no other way to support her.
A procedure in the cath lab could provide valuable data to help make the decision, but the risk is high. So before she leaves her room, Leah and her dad dance.
We do a slow dance before any time she goes out with anesthesia. Then I always have her tell Mom to reassure her that I've got this.
Dr. James St. Louis is ready for emergency surgery if Leah's heart stops in the cath lab.
So we needed numbers in the cardiac catheterization to help us decide whether she was a candidate for the device. The OR team was ready to go. I was there. We knew this was a high-risk catheterization, and the parents knew it as well.
As doctors feared, Leah's heart stopped. In the cardiac cath lab, the team fights to save Leah's life.
Her heart just stopped. Really, her heart was strained as it was. When she went to sleep, her heart just decided not to work anymore. It had given up completely.
Her heart had stopped about 3 more times after that. She kept stopping, and we thought we were going to lose her.
The team mentioned before that ECMO could be like the last ditch effort, you know, to save her. Can you do that? She's been a fighter this whole time, a little warrior. She deserves a fighter's chance.
We were prepared, and within a few minutes, we had her on the extracorporeal membrane oxygenation, the ECMO circuit. So it did the work for the heart and lungs.
Leah's heart stopped 8 times, but she is alive.
She went from this cyanotic, bluish, grayish, ashy color to being pink. And I'd never seen her be pink, and it was amazing how great she looked. I'll never forget the next day, I talked to one of the doctors in the PICU, and they said, she's not done fighting, so neither are we.
The next step to keep Leah alive until transplant is another surgery to place her ventricular assist device, a Berlin heart.
This last one I was the most nervous about. I couldn't dance with her, I couldn't pick her up, so we just held hands, and we really had a sense that if this was it, she lived it well. We lived it well with her.
A Berlin in a single ventricle patient is already a very high complexity. She is in a really difficult situation, and every option we have is incredibly high risk.
Ryan and Kim try to stay strong as they watch their daughter go into surgery for what might be the last time. Leah came out of the Berlin surgery on ECMO in critical condition.
She's supposed to have been asleep for the full 24 hours, and doctor comes in there, she opens her eyes a little bit, and he's trying to talk to her, in a loud voice, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she just sticks her thumb up, And everyone was sort of in awe with that.
Leah continues to fight. With her Berlin heart functioning well, she's able to wean off ECMO after just 5 days.
I was so nervous that morning because you're sitting there not knowing, is it gonna work, is it not? And she did great.
The difficulty with Leah is getting her to transplant. We have been very honest with the family that it's gonna be a rough road, and we're hoping that we are going to be able to support her to transplant, but that there are a lot of additional complexities for her.
Without the new heart, she won't survive. The wait time could be, average would be 3 to 4 months. It could be as high as 8 months to 10 months. So eventually a heart will come for her, and I think she's gonna do well with it.
It's been a month on the Berlin heart machine, and for now, Leah is stable.
Now all we can do is wait. We just hope and pray that she's healthy and we can have her active on the list, and while we just wait for that gift to come. It's hard to wait. It's very hard to wait, especially when you've been here for months.
Leah will face many challenges as she waits for her new heart, and the Children's Mercy team will support her every step of the way.
I'm just waiting for my heart.
She's always defied the odds. The strongest person I've ever met. I assure you that whenever she gets her gift, I will pick out an amazing song for that one.
8-year-old Leah was born with a malformed heart. Multiple surgeries bought her time, but her heart finally failed. Now, Leah's so sick, she needs an ECMO heart-lung bypass machine to keep her alive as she waits for a new heart. After more than 5 months on the transplant waiting list, Leah gets the life-saving call.
We found out really early in the morning, this morning about 3:30, that this heart was for Leah. This is a great heart for her, the right size, pumping strongly, and we're just ecstatic to share the news that today's her day.
I stumbled across everything in the house trying to get to the phone, and I stared in front of the mirror in the bathroom for about 3 or 4 minutes. Then I was like, we got a heart. Felt like we were giving birth, and I had to call everyone on a list and drive an hour to the hospital, but it was a good day, very good day.
But Leah's gift means a loss for the donor's family.
The emotion of thanking the donor family, that was a huge piece of it. The emotion that they must be going through, and our child getting to live, and it was a really cool thing for me to be able to tell her today she was getting a heart.
After a small celebration with the staff, Leah's family takes a moment for their traditional pre-surgery dance together. With her donor heart on its way to Kansas City, Leah's life-changing surgery is about to begin. Children's Mercy has one of the top heart surgery programs in the nation, but Leah is at very high risk. She is in critical condition, and because of her previous HLHS reconstruction surgeries, implanting a normal heart is extremely complex.
She had every risk factor possible. I was scared of how sick she was gonna come out because of how sick she went in. But she came out, and it was an absolute miracle.
After more than 10 hours of surgery, Leah has beaten the odds.
The big news, as of 8:30, her heart is beating on its own.
I felt like I could breathe for the first time. Took a deep breath, and it felt like I've held my breath for 6 months.
So we'll start with the before.
This is hers?
This is her old heart.
Oh my gosh. We didn't realize how sick her heart was. Seeing it next to a beautiful donor heart, a gift that someone has given us, wow.
I am so thankful to the donor family. They had the strength to give that gift because they literally saved a little girl that was about to be out of options.
She has to live 2 lives right now. You know, a life for the donor family and her own, and she's got a big responsibility, and so do we, to play it forward. So half a heart to a full heart, yeah.
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 Ten days after receiving her gift, Leah is making an amazing recovery.
She surprised us. The first couple days especially, I was in like shock at how great she was doing. Because she honestly was one of the top 5 sickest children I've ever been involved in a transplant.
Hundreds of specialists help Leah survive, and they will continue to support her as she recovers with a new heart and hope.
Leah's story shows children's mercy and how it supports really complex children, mind, body, and soul. I think hope is the most important thing, and that's what I love about Children's Mercy. We give them hope, give them strength, and let them know they're not alone walking down this very difficult path.
Thank you for your prayers.
I'm coming